Hello and welcome to another episode of Dynamically Typed. Join me here in my shop with something that you probably didn't expect to see here in my shop. All this time I've been working on antique typewriters or strange typewriters, but I was watching an episode of Just My Typewriter. She was talking about how she likes to visit her local thrift stores. And though I got my very first typewriter, that one that I gave to my brother-in-law, from a thrift store, I actually hadn't been back to the thrift store since then. All these typewriters I've been finding have been off of eBay, some from Facebook Marketplace, but I hadn't gone back. So I went to the local Goodwill and I found this. And I wouldn't have done it. It was $10. And it is a Silver Reed 8700 with some original paperwork. The original cover, I think it's unused. It looks brand new. Some Hermes? Anyway. Even this wouldn't have been enough to convince me. What convinced me was that I was able to plug it in and it worked. Kind of. Let's see if I can recreate that. Feels weird to plug in a typewriter, man. Well, this is basically what happened before. Let's see if I can remember how to open this up. Let's turn it off again. Anyway, when I got to it, this cover was off. So I suspected there was some issue. The point is, once I would get the belt going, it actually works. So I had ordered a new belt, but as you can see, there is no chance that this is the right belt. Maybe it'll work? I don't know if you can tell. This whole envelope isn't as thick as the belt that's on this. So this is not right. That's frustrating. So do we try and change it anyway? Here, let's get this thing out of here. Cover off. And I just do like this. Just enough to change this belt, or else measure the belt and buy a different belt. I mean, I think probably part of the problem is that it's just bent there. Supposedly this is the belt. Ridiculous. Look at these. Look at that. That's not even... Is it even the right length? Well, Sometimes you just don't complain about it, because it appears that's working. Surprise, surprise. Why did it need this giant thing if that little thing is enough? I don't know. The rest of it looks really clean. I mean, I don't even think I need to clean this. The type bars are almost shiny. Honestly, the most I see is it looks like it's got a couple of dog hairs in it or something. I have already thrown on a real cheap black ribbon, which does not have grommets, so if I wanted to actually use this ribbon, I would have to add some grommets to it. It always wants to lock the carriage when the motor is off. You actually want to lock the carriage. Inside the case is one giant screw. And I wonder if these what go in that to hold it down. Absolutely, that's what that is. But there's only one of them, unless it's kicking around in the machine somewhere. There we go. It's kind of an interesting shape. Well, I can measure that screw, get another one, or I can just say it was pretty well attached when I got it. Probably that screw isn't 100% necessary. Button it back up. Let me give it a little vacuum here. Still, for $10 damn, I think that's a pretty good find. Even if it is way newer than most of my stuff. I forget which year. I think I looked it up once and I don't remember already what year. Kind of doesn't matter to me as much when it's like relatively made yesterday. That's not going to work too many times. Luckily, I don't think we'll have to do that too many more times. That belt seemed to work. Let's see it fire up. Put this one screw in there. Leaves me with kind of a quandary. What do I do with this machine? It's almost kind of too good. Platen is good. Rollers are good. Plastic is good. Should I try and type something? Guess I should, huh? I mean, I need paper. Why do I never have paper over here? I think I'd have learned by now. Why is it double? The space bar is giving me 2 spaces. There's your problem with that little thin guy. All right, so on this old giant belt, The actual return button worked. Now it would seem I don't have enough oomph to move that whole carriage. So that is disappointing. I'm going to have to find another belt. Well, you knew it couldn't be that good forever. But hey, I'm looking for a belt and a screw that's just for holding the housing together. I think things could be worse. What if I can just bend it out? Not really. No. This is the belt versus the original. Now it does start nicely, and it even types. But watch what happens when I hit the return. It doesn't have the juice. Once I do that, it comes back and we'll type again. So it's like, it's almost good enough, but it's not actually good enough. It doesn't have the power. I measured this around and I measured it across, and the closest thing I could find to that was this big honkin' beat belt that I have flipped so that the wider side is inside instead of outside like a V belt normally would be. But I have a feeling this isn't gonna fit. It's gonna be too tall. It would be perfect, but it is indeed too tall. So can I shave this down? That seems like a recipe for disaster. I really probably should have had a better plan than to just cut into it, but I will admit I am getting increasingly frustrated by this project. This was supposed to be, hey, you got this for $10 at a thrift store, and it basically works. The belt is just a little misshapen. Alright, great. Well, what do you do about that? Well, can you get a new belt? Oh, look, this company sells it, except they sell the wrong one. Alright, can I get a different one? Well, not really. Okay, now what? Well, let's see if we can cut this one. Can we cut this one? I don't know. I'm just kind of freehand belt cutting now. That seems totally fine. But, you know, this is what we're coming up with. I've seen worse things. Basically kind of looks like as long as I come along from both sides a couple times, I can just pull it. I'm basically taking the V part off of the V belt. And this is a 100% half-ass right here. Just trying to smooth out sections that aren't very smooth. It won't affect much as long as the these edges don't touch the housing or something. All right, let's see. All of that grinding. It was just spinning on the bottom here, so this side is too smooth. I can tell you one thing. This other side isn't smooth. The other side is cut up from having been demolished by my knife. Let's see if this works any better. God damn it. Nope. Well, that was a waste of $10. We're now $10 and $18 and $10. So is that $38? We're now $38 into my $10 project. I'm starting to get a little frustrated by that. The problem is, until I fix this kink, I basically can't close the cover up because it needs help to get started if it lands to where it's in the position that it sat in all that time. See? It works, it works. And that's what this lesser belt could not handle, was that return. It's just too much force. I don't know. Getting frustrated. Well, now, no sooner than I say it did I realize that if the problem is that that is bent backwards, just flip this one over. And look at this, no more thunking. And it all works. I spent $28 on belts for nothing. Well, it was a learning experience. But in the meantime, that means I can put the case on this, which is nice. And now it sounds kind of bad. But it's working. Oh. Are you kidding me? Well, I have no idea. It certainly is annoying. From top to bottom. Well, we're back here with the Silver Reed 8700. And we've kind of been going back and forth on this machine. This is the original belt. You can see it's kinked. I ordered a belt from West Coast Belts, and this is what showed up. You can see the marked difference in the belt, both width and thickness. And I wrote them back saying I was disappointed, and what they have dug up for me is a belt that is somewhere in between. It looks to be the right width, and it is certainly thicker. Let's see if it will do the job. So let's put it on back here. Feed it around. It is certainly a much closer fit to the width. Starts up nicely. Now the important question is, will the return work? And it does. So hooray, we've got a good belt. Thank you, West Coast Belts. Thank you for getting me back to where I was supposed to be. I will be contacting them to see if they want this returned. If they do, I will of course return it. And now all we have to do is give this thing really the lightest of cleaning. and the slugs almost look unused. What I do need to do, I have this ribbon that I've installed, and it does not have grommets. It's also just black. Perhaps I should just actually give it a real ribbon. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. But I'm happy that this is going, and I should be able to more or less button this up. Can I get in here to clean this without taking the whole thing apart? I'll see what I can do about that. We'll give it a little clean. We'll button most of it up, do something about this ribbon, and then I think I will try to see if I can find someone who is interested in this. Because I already have a Selectric. You haven't seen that on this channel yet. Well, we'll see what I do. Maybe I'll hold on to it. We'll see. It's big. Okay, it appears to have just been a matter of taking the 4 feet off the bottom, which I've taken off now all 4 of them. And we should be able to lift this up out of its case. I hope. How can I do it without hurting the machine? I guess maybe by the button. There we go. Yikes. Yeah, let's give this just a little bit of a scrub. Uh-oh. That appears to be a ground gear. Well, now we're on the lookout for something. Look at that. Maybe I shouldn't have looked. And here's the bottom side of the case. Yeah, that's doing the job. I'm going to have to refill my Simple Green jar here in a second, but not quite yet. That's a lot better than it was. Give a little wipe to some of this stuff here, but this doesn't even really matter. You'll never see that. The front top case is perfect. That doesn't need anything. So now I guess we look to see where that gear came from. I really don't know what I'm looking at or looking for. Although, boy, there's the rest of that gear. What was that? Whatever it is, it's toast now. I will do a little more looking. If I can figure it out, I'll let you know. So far, I haven't felt any functions of the machine that don't work. So I don't know what that was for. Hopefully it was something that's not super important and we can just disclose it if we try to sell it. Obviously, we will look around and see if we can find something. Seems to be very close to whatever this arm is. Let's see if I can pull it out there. Boy, whatever that was, that is just gone. And it is, I think it's this lever. Well, let's go to the book because I think I read about this in the book. We have the Silver Reed operating instructions. And I'm almost certain that it is number 25. It's about there. The reset mechanism. This device has been incorporated to protect the machine against jamming. If the machine does not operate when switched on, switch off and then on again. Should it not work, switch off, move the special reset lever, and the machine should be then cleared and ready for typing. I think I'm comfortable saying that is a rarely used item, and we can just disclose that gear, whatever that did, was broken. Now I can imagine, because I had the trouble starting it, if someone was really wailing on it, trying to get the machine to run, the problem, of course, was the belt was stuck in a position where it wouldn't start. If you were then trying to wail on that reset lever, hey, reset, 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 why aren't you resetting? You're not starting, and eventually grind the gear off. I guess I could believe that. Maybe I'll see if someone has a replacement, but almost paradoxically, I haven't seen too many of these around, maybe because they're too new. So we'll just have to see. All right, let me button it back up. I'm going to do that off camera. This thing is big enough, and doing it with the camera out of the way would be a lot easier. All right, I've thought a lot about the ribbon. Let's pull this out here and turn the machine off. I threw on a black ribbon just to do a little testing. But clearly this is a machine that can do black and red, and probably should. Newer machine. Let it at least have that benefit. So I think what I want to do is go back to the original plastic spools. These are the spools that go with the black ribbon. Just generic, universal spools. And these are the spools that it came with, which has correction tape in black. Now, I'm not a big fan of using correction tape at all, so I think what I want to do, as silly as this sounds, is re-spool this with red-black, even though they're plastic, and keep this one for another day. Also, we'll want to have grommets, which currently this does not have, but the reversers would like to have grommets. So for whoever ends up with this thing, I want them to have a machine that's good. So you pull that. Okay, that's the end of the ribbon there. I'm going to pull this out. And save this for another day. I'll seal it up. And I'll throw on some black red on here. I'm not going to do that on camera because it's going to be annoying, and it's just for an electric typewriter anyway. So I'll be back in a minute with some red black. And just like that, we have a new ribbon installed. Got grommets installed on the ends, and I think all we need now is a little paper. Do I have any fresh paper over here? I'll leave the cover off for now just to show off, but we'll obviously put that back on. Oop, I'm on red. I'm hitting it pretty hard with my fingers because I'm so used to a manual that it... Can I do the touch up? Oh, I'm on caps lock. Well, we'll stay. All right, seems to be working pretty well. This has been the Silver Reed 8700. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.